not prepared!
Beast Hunter is maybe the best deck out there right now after the recent nerfs, and the deck is not at all hard to pilot, pretty close to optimally as well. So in this video, I'll do my best to make you a better Beast Hunter player. This will also help you play better against the deck, so you know what to expect from it, so stick around to the end. If you find this video helpful, definitely consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. And also don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Now let's check out the deck. There are several good variations of this deck, but personally I find this one to be the best performer for me, with the Iron Deep Trogs instead of the Insatiable Devourers, which feel a little bit too heavy. This is a 40 card deck, and that inherently makes it pretty expensive, even though some of the legendaries are free, and most of the others are pretty good for the Hunter class as a whole, so you won't feel too bad about crafting them. Others you can just straight up not craft and check the deck without them. Anyway, we have free 1-drops, so that's a total of 6 cards for you to start curving out with. Peasant is obviously MVP. Batty Guest is pretty nice because it's a lot of stats and it's a sticky minion which you can slap a doggy biscuit on. And Iron Deep Trog can be pretty powerful on its own because it's gonna be crippling a lot of classes, especially tempoed out on turn 1. We have quite a few good 2-drops, with the Spirit Poacher being your best one, which you will be hoping for on turn 2. Kanon is not horrible, but you don't really want to be tempoing it out too much, because this way you can basically dredge out something powerful later on with, let's say, your Asheron Saber. But also it's not the worst thing in the world to tempo on turn 2. But you are gonna see it's actually not something you want to be keeping in the mulligan most of the time, which is kinda weird honestly. We have Castle Kennels in here, which is a pretty decent location with free charges, and you can give Rush to your beasts, which can be pretty powerful, especially since we're running so many Wild Seed Dormant beasts, and being able to attack with those is gonna heavily impact the state of the board, or you can just use it for more phase damage as well, which is not at all wrong. Frenzied Fangs are also something you don't really want to be curving out on turn 2, but honestly it doesn't feel bad when you do that as well. Selective Breeder can be pretty complex for you, and you definitely don't want to use it most of the time for a second Asheron Saber, but you would much rather use it for a second Sunken Asheron Saber, or just a second Rat King, which can be pretty powerful on its own too. It's not the worst thing in the world to get an extra King Crush as well, and on some matchups where you know you're gonna be heavily aggressed, Hydrolon or Mountain Bear would not be so bad either, so you definitely have plenty of options, but be careful picking just Asheron Saber, because that muddies up the high roll potential out of it even further, because you could just get a second just Asheron Saber from your Sunken Saber later on. Which in aggro matchup is not horrible, but it's definitely not the high roll you're hoping for. On the free slots we obviously have the Harpoon Gun, which is pretty MVP, and you could actually do some pretty sick plays with this, especially if you already have a beast at the bottom. Your stack charge is pretty decent, especially comboed with Wild Spirit, so you can get your Dormant Beast faster. But also be careful using these, especially when you already have a Harpoon Gun equipped, because that might put a timer on you for you to have to waste your valuable Harpoon Gun, because you could get the 5-4 stag, which gives you a weapon in 3 turns or less, especially if you used Wild Spirits. Blade Master Akani can be especially impactful when timed correctly, and it's definitely a pretty good play as soon as turn 3 or 4, and that goes double when you already have a good board state. Blade Master Samuro is not super important for this deck, but you could also high roll with it with something like Castle Kennels already, and that suddenly becomes a free damage AoE, or you can also do it with Doggy Biscuit. Or both. Erelon is a pretty powerful legendary to have in this deck, but if you're short on dust, I guess you can cut this guy out, and you can try the deck without him, and same goes for your Huntsman Altimore. But yeah, Arrowlon can be pretty powerful combined with your Wild Spirits, and it's just a ton of stats on his own. Pet Collector has only 2 targets for this deck, being your Rat King plus your Asheron Saber, but also your Sunken Saber obviously. Rat King is pretty powerful as well, and you could get even 3 Rat Kings in a single game, and that can be very devastating for some opponents. Beastalker Tavish is MVP, like most Hunter decks nowadays. And with this guy, you can even go with improved emergency maneuvers if you have your board empty, and next turn just go with a Mountain Bear, and if the opponent kills that, you get 2 Mountain Bears. Or you can just go Beastalker Tavish and use Hero Power, and if you get lucky with a Huffer, and they do kill it, which they will, you will get 2 of those ready to charge face again next turn. And same goes for King Crush, but it does take a little bit of setting up, and it's kind of a risky play. The other improved secrets are also pretty important, and a well-timed improved Ice Trap can ruin your opponent's day. Huntsman Altimore is a pretty high value card as well, and it has a ton of stats on its own, but yeah, like I said, if you want to try the deck and you don't have that much dust, you can also cut this guy out. Hydrolon is a pretty core beast for this deck, so you definitely want to be having him, even though it's gonna be a little bit sucky if you get it out of your Sunken Saber, because that way you don't get to rush. Mountain Bears are pretty important as well. King Crush is a great finisher, Wing Commander Ikmin is another card that people don't run in all versions of this deck, so you can also swap it out for something like Insatiable Devourer, but this card can single-handedly swing back the game in your favor, and it's pretty fun to be having a ton of beats like that. So if you have it, it would be awesome if you include it. And we have Saranafrius at the end, with which you don't really intend to have a big ass combo for the finisher, but it's just a big bomb card for the late game, especially if you had it for a while, and you're gonna be more than happy to use it for something like 20 damage, because that also heals you back up. There are several other variants of the deck, like I said, including the popular variant without Trogs but Insatiable Devourers, but like I said, those feel heavy. Some people also prefer having school teachers in there, or Ambassador Phelan, or even things like Big Game Hunter, but I think that was mostly for the rogues, even though nowadays it could be pretty good against Naga Priest if you face too many of those. Teotar can also make some sense, heck even Teelan, so you can fish out your Denafrius easier, but that is gonna be a dead giveaway for the opponent to go for a Teotar or Mutinous against you, so be careful using that. Either way, I'm just showing you these so you have ideas how you can swap out some cards in order to still try the deck without all of its legendaries. So yeah, these are just some ideas for you to consider. Matchup wise, here's what it looks like, and you would notice there's actually almost no bad matchups for this one, aside from Blessed Priest, which is not that popular on ladder, so you got that going for you. Evolved Shaman also apparently is not too great, but it's just a 50-50, so ain't nothing wrong with that. Everything else is pretty green, and it kinda looks the same on the legend rank as well, although most priests are gonna be annoying for you here, especially the Naga priests because they do know how to play there. Mulligan wise, you're actually gonna be surprised what we're gonna see here, and this is what it looks like when going first. Obviously the top 5 cards are no surprise to anybody, but you will notice that things like Batty Guest, Frenzied Fellfangs, Asheron Saber, K9, Selective Breeder, and all sorts of supposedly cheap good stuff is not at all high win rate when kept, and you would definitely prefer some of these over those. This being a 40 deck though, I'm not sure you can be too picky, and if you already have a decent curve going, I think you should still stick with it, so be careful what you throw back into the mix. Here's what it looks like when going second, and as you can see, Beaststalker Tavish becomes a lot more keepable, Asheron Saber as well, and even things like Huntsman Altimore become a lot more keepable, but be careful because turn 6 is not that close, and God knows you might not even be able to hold on to the coin that long, so there's that. I wouldn't be keeping Saranafrius too often, because there's just too much Teotar and even Mutinous out there on ladder, so be careful keeping chunky stuff like this. Peasant becomes not as much of a keep anymore here, and even Iron Deep Trog is going to be questionable against some matchups since you are going to be going second, and they're probably going to curve out with something on turn 1, which is going to be dealing with the Trog anyway. Anyway, that's going to be it for the guide, hope you enjoyed it, don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching, and now let's check out some of the games on my road to top 500 legend. Enjoy! Priest, yucky. Shell.
I will never serve.
Okay, kind of like the stack charge against the possible Naga Priest. King Crush is my most trusted companion. This guy looks like Questicle though. Well, Peasant is a good turn 1 here. Yeah. I think this is supposed to be a very good matchup for me. Saranafrius can change that, I guess. Nice and early. Nice top decks. Nice top decks. Leave my Denafrius alone. Do I even want the Saber? There's no King Crush for me to smack him with. At least it's real cheap. Let's Not drawing too much now anyway. Okay, let's not forget we're swinging. Of course we're swinging. Why would we not swing here? Chippin. Chippy.
No creature deserves to be.
Okay, that's what he stole from us. He has stolen my childhood, chat. Okay. Who killed Nerfs? I think he was actually not killed. I think that was kind of the whole point. But if somebody really did kill him, my guess is on the dinner performer, because the lore text on the dinner performer is actually bang. That's it. Just bang. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, Arenithal is kind of saying it's time to dethrone our new master or whatnot. It's like, it's kind of the deal.
Light cannot exist.
Okay, Savage Silence, but still it's fine. Okay, this is a ton of damage, and that's GG. Prince Renatal was the lethal.
It is finished. You win.
Okay, that went pretty well against the against the control class, you know. Okay, let's go like this. QQHS. Pretty decent hand for us. Kept the far left. Not sure if he's quested out. I'm kind of spectacled if he's quest. Okay. Sure. That cost him a fair bit still. It's definitely good if he did it, because if he didn't, he would have been in danger. I always hate doing this, but we really can't afford to fall behind on the board. That team's a pretty good pick. I think he has the better 2-drop there, but we have the betterest 3-drop, so we got that going. The bestest. Let's try this. Getting a copy of a Sunken Saber soon. Should be good. Okay, he cast his. This kind of allows him to trade his Saber into mine. So be it. Still does it. Well, good thing is we have Rat King, so I can do the same. Do I want a copy of Sunken Saber first, though? Probably. I can actually swing first and get a copy of a 1-mana Sunken Saber. Big boy plays chat, big boy. There is a way for me to actually pull the big boy right now too. I will. It could be a small boy though. That's the problem, it could be a small boy instead. Because it's not only big beast in this one. It is definitely plausible we get the big beast though. It's a stupid play though. This is, what am I even talking about? This is a much better play. This is a much better play, chat. What am I talking about now? Kinda rusty on the big boy beast plays like that. You don't get to see those too often with this one. That's a huge low roll for him. He's trying to infuse his Huntsman, but to no avail. Oh, is he gonna leave me with a big bear alive? Thanks, man. Couldn't have done it without you. Then again, it's not like he's gonna... Still gonna kill my small bear. Let's get a bunch of snakes. What are you doing, Lucy? What did you do? My baby! Well, Leok, possible we fall, that's why we don't get it. But still. Oh. He had the nuts here. He also had a part of the nuts, but we had more of them. We had the bigger, better nuts. The bigger, better, badder nuts. Let's try this then. That's a good curve. That's a better curve. These guys are 30. Could be the faster ping mage. Acceptable.
You are not prepared. I'm
Lottie Karfa, thanks for the follow, Lottie. Welcome to the stream. Why do I always get rush bullshit against mages? Not me in particular, but on the coaching session that was the most common out as well. Would have been awesome if it was something expensive for the Wild Spears to feel good. much. Got Second Flame and Pink to deal with those. Let's do that then. Okay, that could be pulling his 4-drop. What's her name? Let's proceed in the face area. And just like that, half his health is gone. You must have Flurry in there. No way, no how we're attacking with the minions. Shocking. Probably repeats. Solid Alibi is close on the way. Hey, how's it going, Jadis? Oh wow, an actual Naga Mage. This has been a while.
Who here can spell Zinjari? Anybody?
Bullshit. Solid bullshit.
Pick me! Pick me!
Samurai would be pleasant off the top. I feel like, yeah, like, it's not that the Trogger is doing that much, but the Devourers can just be way too slow for you. There's the top deck we were looking for. Thanks, man. Never mind. Well, that was shit. Was that randomly discovered, by the way? What the fuck, man? Was that from the Nagaling? Explosive. I could have even read it, but then again, what else would we do this turn? I guess nothing was better, but still, damn. Yeah, I guess if we top deck something cheap, that would have been a huge misplay. It is a huge misplay, regardless of what we top deck, but question is, are we gonna get punished for it? That was a giga misplay. Top decking the stack charge would be lethal out. Well, I guess we're gonna deal with that 2-6. And no we did not top deck something to test with, so it is what it is.
I will drain you.
Still hasn't played this Naga, which could be the 4-drop. What's her name?
Who here can spell Zinjari? Anybody?
Let's pay attention to what the fuck he discovers this time, shall we? Did we get it? Still a lot of things to happen this turn, or not. Okay, that was a very dumb play into that Samuro though. Playing Samuro like that was not smart. Didn't change much. I guess it would have been valuable if we top decked something like the Bear or Hydrolon instead. Or Rat King. In that line of thinking, Samuro taking the hit is a smart play, but I don't think that was a smart play. He is Legends. I'm pretty sure I've coached against this guy. Pretty sure. I don't think I keep Sire against this man. I'm down to keep the K9. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. I said that aged poorly or something stupid like that. Okay, Troggy boy. Yeah, that's cute. Well, in that case, I wasn't planning on saving the K9, but in this case, I definitely don't need to. Oh man. Oh, okay. Say it out then.
I will drain you.
I don't know, man. I think we're pretty fit with the expensive shit already, so. Could also Akani next turn.
Stone by stone, storm wind shall fall.
Alrighty then. We're getting a Bear or a Hydrolon out of the Sunken guy. So it is on L1 Rogue, huh?
I'm 7 moves ahead of you.
Spotted this one eating hearty snacks.
Okay.
Stone by stone, storm wind
This
shall
still could have been a lot bigger of a turn for him.
You can't always trust.
A lot bigger of a turn. Now we're gonna have a big turn instead. That one's out of the equation. This could be a Draka right there. Probably is. If it was a Gnoll, he would have probably played it already. Okay, that's Draka. I mean, that's a Gnoll. This is still Draka. Is he gonna play it for a small boy? And there's that Gnoll. He is in danger. Got him. Okay, under 500. You take those.